Now, let me just preface this by the following. This video is not intended to be an endorsement of harassment or any sort of, quote, bullying, as the little pussy would most likely call it if someone just looks at him and calls him a greasy sack of garbage. But nevertheless, this video is simply meant for the purpose of entertainment and information. This is not meant to act as a instruction to harass the dipshit mentioned in the video, so I would like to request that everyone avoid doing that. He may be a fucking door stump, but he doesn't need to be harassed more than his own life already does. Let's be honest, the guy's life sucks enough as it is. Doing this would be an unnecessary measure. It's overkill. And usually I'm not one to oppose overkill, but this level of redundancy would essentially mean nothing, and all it would do is waste your time. So, okay, let's catch everyone up to speed. For the last few, I don't know how many months now, Codebreaker's just been obsessively tagging everyone, trying to re-add them about fucking bullshit, because apparently the best thing to do to illustrate the point that you are totally doing better at everyone in life is to just show everyone that you're pouring all your open hours into trying to harass them or re-add them over something that they said that hurt your feelings at one point. I mean, people can say what they want, but it's obvious his fucking feelings got hurt because he responded to everyone for months. Just constantly trying to tag people to get their attention. This doesn't sound like someone that's like, I'm totally owning you, I'm totally good at this, I'm totally just making you mad, and I'm winning. No, this is like someone that knows they're not getting anywhere, but they're insisting on continuing it, because they believe that if they keep trying harder and harder, eventually they'll have a hit that lands. Even though it's basically the equivalent of swinging repeatedly at a fucking wall and hoping you somehow hit everything except the wall. He's basically doing the equivalent of trying to swing a baseball bat inside of a phone booth and miss all the glass. I'm not even sure if we still have phone booths anymore. I don't believe we do. I think we pretty much got rid of all those. Excuse me. But nevertheless, it just comes off as a really sad attempt to get underneath everyone's skin when you need to obsessively tag people every few days or so just to get their acknowledgement. And most of the time you have no compelling argument about why it is that people need to be tagged, need to care, or need to make it their fucking problem. Makes no fucking sense. It's like, well, I'm tagging you to let you know that I'm winning. Dude, if you were winning, people wouldn't just be rolling their eyes at you like the stupid little fucking kid that's tugging on their sleeve wanting to get their attention. That's what it is. It's like the dipshit kid that everyone remembers from their elementary school or middle school days that would always find a way to make every dumbass thing he thinks about everyone else's problem. Whether it be by dragging everyone else into it, by demanding everyone pay attention to him while he mouths off to the teacher, or whether he decides to do something fucking stupid in front of everyone in his desperate bid for everyone's attention. Seriously, trolling is meant to be clever, it's meant to be a slow pulling of the thread. It's meant to be slowly feeding someone enough dumb or false information to get them to buy into it so they'll make a fool of themselves by believing them. That is not the same thing as aggressively stalking people to bring up members of their family, dead or alive, who may or may not have any actual association with them outside of the internet or even association at all. I mean, you've done this to me as well. You bring up a member of my father's side of the family who had a drug problem years ago, as though that's somehow relevant to me, even though I've never really seen the guy very much, and I don't really talk to him because I don't see him at all. The guy never comes to any of the family gatherings on my father's side from what I've heard, because I myself can't make it either, because usually there are times where I'm working or I'm not in the state when they happen. But the fact is this, like, dragging up people's personal details just to try to get a cheap jab at someone, it's not trolling, it just shows how hurt you were. Because I think deep down you know that everyone that's ever called you a fucking burnout or a failure is right. And I think it burns you so fucking bad and it lights a fire under your ass to the point where you just get pissed off at everyone. So you need to make it everyone else's problem that you have like a really fucked up dysfunctional life that doesn't go anywhere or mean anything. I mean, it's not anyone else's fault that you actively choose to make it other people's fucking problem that you don't know how to handle a disagreement or criticism or any sort of scrutiny regarding your actions, to the point where you have to constantly do obsessive, creepy bullshit to get people's attention. You're not winning an argument doing that, dude. You're not helping yourself, because when people see that kind of behavior, it basically just paints you in a negative manner, where people are able to call you a babbling fucking idiot, because it just shows that you're trying much too hard to get underneath people's skin. It doesn't work, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to do, because if you feel like you're so confident, if you feel like you're just, I'm owning everyone, I'm defeating them all, they all look stupid, they're all mad, they're mad, bro, please tell me they're mad, bro. That's basically what it is. You're just trying to make people angry by doing things that other people would just look at and say, yeah, that's a little bit too much trouble for someone just calling me a faggot on the internet. I mean, let's be honest, like, you're doing the kind of shit that people only do if they're just spastically, terminally online. Like a lot of those dipshits you see on Twitter, where they just terminally screech about something that they don't like happening in pop culture, or something that they don't like happening in social media, to the point where they have to make it the world's problem, because they just can't learn to self-regulate and say, fuck it, it's not my problem, and move along with their damn day. And that's what you strike me as. You strike me as the kind of terminally online fucker whose entire life is dedicated to speak. You piss and moan and cry into the fucking ether, and then at the same time you want to yammer on and whine and bitch about whether or not people have like X, Y, and Z going on for themselves, when you have nothing really to compare it to. Because you're the person that's always insisting that your life is doing so better, but at the same time, you live in a group home surrounded by strangers or people that are loosely acquainted with you, I assume. And it doesn't seem like very many people will actually seem to spend time with you, because the only person that ever hangs out with you is Sport Doss's retarded ass. And even he kind of disowned you when he realized how fucking crazy and obsessive you were being. And a quick word to the faggot in question. A quick word to Sport Doss. You probably shouldn't be trying to call people shit on the words of a bunch of other people who have a long and sordid history of doing all kinds of horrendous, fucked up shit to get back at people for disagreeing with them. I will admit that what I did was a major piece of shit thing to do, and I will never defend it. But that doesn't make me X, Y, and Z. It just means I was an asshole that did something stupid, because I was a dumb, fuck depressive alcoholic at that given point in time. That doesn't make it excusable, that doesn't make it okay, but the difference is I'm not running away from having fucked up. I'm not trying to bullshit people about me not being responsible for my own dumbass actions, because I was. That's all on me. I fucked up. I take responsibility. Instead of you, where you're just gonna grab random fucking people out of the ether of YouTube history to throw them at me, hoping that all my criticisms and admonishment of you is essentially stripped away, so that you're not responsible for the dumb fucking petty bullshit that you put yourself through. Honestly, I can't help but think it's funny. It's like, they hurt me emotionally, Gage. He hurts me mentally. He hurts you mentally because you're a fucking moron that wants to throw himself into the annals of bullshit every chance he gets. Now, it seems to me that Sport Doss has kind of fucked off in recent months. Okay, good for him. I'm glad that he's doing something else he enjoys. I'm hoping that he's found something worthwhile to entertain himself with. I mean, I hope he's just enjoying his hobbies and doing things that are genuinely enjoyable, instead of getting sucked into this shit every time fucking Codebreaker has a mental breakdown and shits himself every time someone just looks at him and says, fuck off and go away. But nevertheless, the point being is, like, the two of you together, it seems like it's like the Beavis and Butthead of dumb shit that people see on the internet. One of them is marginally smarter than the other because they actually have hobbies and things they can dedicate their time to, where they say, you know what, I want to go do something I actually like, and then they do that. But Codebreaker, I guess he's not. I guess he's more like the Beavis of the duo, because he'll just do whatever someone tells him to, or he's so fucking stupid he'll just constantly do retarded shit to get acknowledgement without thinking to himself whether or not there might be some sort of repercussions later. I mean, here's the thing, no one's gonna fucking waste time to hunt him down and hurt him, because, well, it's fucking YouTube. People really don't care that much, or at least shouldn't. Provided someone isn't actually doing, like, legitimately dangerous or criminal shit that suggests they could be a threat to someone else. In which case, yeah, law enforcement might be a necessity at that point. But the fact is, this just comes off as, like, some brain-dead, whiny shit that a person pulls when they have nothing else going on. And I don't want to hear, well, you're saying that because no, I'm saying that because realistically, a lot of people that actually have jobs, relationships, friendships that are worth a shit, they don't need to dedicate the amount of time that you dedicate to this pointless fucking nonsense. Because it's pointless fucking nonsense. You're essentially just whining that someone said something that hurt your feelings at one point, and then you spent months of your life stalking and threatening them and trying to harass them afterwards. And for some reason you're trying to act like you're coming out with a one-over on everyone. No. Like, every single day you obsess over Damien having a Patreon or having friends or even posting content at all is another day that he and everyone else in his friend group win over you. Because you're obsessing. You're not doing things that are actually enjoyable to you. You're wasting your time fighting people who have already beat you, who don't care about you, who see you as nothing more but a minor headache at most. And then at the same time, you're trying to act like you're coming out ahead when you've technically been dead for months. If I am to use some sort of comparison here, the best way to compare it is if you and Damien and everyone else had been playing Mortal Kombat against each other. It would essentially be the equivalent of you turning off your controller and then walking away, and then everyone just beating your character savagely, repeatedly. And then when you come back and say, well, wait a minute, what happened? Well, it's simple. You didn't have a rebuttal to what anyone was saying. Your only rebuttal is, well, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And you're acting like these things are supposed to, destroy people's livelihoods or friendships or credibility or reputations, when the reality is it's just showing that you're just another one of these dime a dozen dipshits that shows up to start a bunch of shit, cries about the shit starting, and then demands everyone else either to go away or leave them alone because you decided to start a bunch of fucking petty nonsense for no reason. That's all it is. You make a fucking asshole of yourself, and then you have the nerve to complain that people tell you to fuck yourself and get lost. What exactly was the point? What exactly is your overall argument? It doesn't matter what I do. All that matters is you say mean things to me. Meanwhile, everyone else in the room is only saying these things because you're a dipshit that makes a habit out of being an annoying ass. If you want to say you don't agree with the way people treat you, that's fine. But the fact is, you're not even trying to actually issue rebuttals or counter-arguments to things people said. Now, if you actually wanted to issue a rebuttal, you could go to the comment section, timestamp things that the person says using the time code, and then issue rebuttals in the comments. If you actually did that, people would not take issue with it. But you don't do that because you're not smart enough to actually issue a fucking rebuttal. All of your rebuttals are basically just passive-aggressive tagging where you bitch and whine and malign about fucking nothing. One thing I don't understand is, you zoom in on a comment I made regarding me being in a relationship with someone a year older than me. Okay, and she's 30, I'm 29. I don't get why that's some big fucking ooh kind of fucking statement. You're not owning someone when you point out the fact that there's an adult fucking another adult. What is the argument there? And it goes to my videos, it goes into my fucking video about Codebreaker's thoughts on parenthood. It's okay, and am I supposed to have kids just because we're almost 30? Just because I'm nearly 30 and because she's 30, are you trying to say that people are obligated to have kids at a certain age? Let's be honest, kids are a big responsibility, and quite honestly, I don't like the idea of having kids because the thought that I could give something precious to the world that the world could destroy or fuck up makes me never want to have them. I refuse to be told what I should do with my life by some fucking moron who can't even figure out his own life. I mean, what do you have to contribute to the conversation about that at all? Literally nothing. You've proven time and time again that you're too much of a fucking defect to even understand the shit people say around you. Because you've been proven time and time again to misinterpret and misread what people fucking say about you. To the point where you drag up random BS every week or so. And then for some reason at the same time you want to lecture people about not understanding people. Or about not getting what you're trying to get across. When you seem to think that a person being comfortable living by themselves or living without a partner is somehow, you're afraid of women. Well, some people just genuinely like the idea of having a lot more freedom, because speaking as someone in a long-term relationship, I do enjoy the relationship. Before someone said, "Well, are you gonna like take shots at that?" No, it's just that you have to make a lot of compromises and concessions in a relationship. There are things you kind of have to be able to meet in the middle and compromise on if you want a relationship to actually work. But if a person feels comfortable by themselves, for example, then why bother them? Why complain about them feeling comfortable by themselves? I don't fucking understand that at all. I do not understand why it is that whenever someone sees a dude that's single by choice because they feel like they're happier, like, why does that need to be something to be ashamed? If a woman can be single because she wants to be, because she doesn't want to fuck around with anyone, a guy should be able to do the same thing in regards to just not wanting to date. And as I said in that video, whether or not Damien chooses to date and have kids eventually, and whether or not Kate and I have kids, means exactly fucking nothing to you at all. Because us having children or him getting married eventually and maybe meeting a woman having kids, that means nothing. It's an irrelevant fucking detail people like you constantly bring up. Meanwhile, you're all by your fucking self. Not by choice, I would assume, because you seem like the kind of person that would not be able to handle a relationship because you'd be the fucking whiny, antagonistic idiot that would find a way to make his girlfriend or boyfriend, I don't judge, mad. Because you're the kind of person that appears to me that you'd be the kind of person that would try to gaslight, antagonize, and piss off your partner, whether it be from a short-term relationship or a long-term relationship. You seem like the kind of guy that would just find a way to be annoying and be a pain in the ass, because you find it funny just to be irritating for the purpose of being irritating, like a dipshit 10-year-old. Like, if you're disabled, fine, I'll give you the fact that you're disabled, but at what point in time do you realize that you might need some form of fucking self-correction? When you start to develop a pattern of, like, just being a genuinely annoying little shit, and then constantly trying to find a way to make everyone else's day like a headache because you, for some reason, can't just find something fun or entertaining to do that doesn't involve being an attention-hungry little dipshit. I mean, you constantly talk shit about people's families, but yours has nothing to do with you. Like, there may be some people who genuinely have, like, rougher family backgrounds who don't exactly have great families. And what exactly gives you the right to lecture those people about how bad their families might be or how their families might have difficulties or problems with the law, when you, of all people, don't even seem to have anyone that seems to willingly associate with you besides Sport Doss? And I think the only reason that Sport Doss associates with you is because the two of you formed a nice little circle jerk with Studi for a while, before Studi basically just decided to fam the fuck Moose because he realized that nobody was giving him any fucking fanfare. One more thing before I get ready to close this fucking video out. Upvoting your comments with dozens of alts doesn't seem to help you understand that you don't look cool when you do that. It doesn't make you look intelligent. It doesn't do anything for you except show that you have an unhealthy amount of free time on your hands to make alt accounts. Like, what is the point? Do you expect everyone just to say, oh, look at all the likes, it means people like him? No, it means that he's a fucking moron that needs to upvote his own comments because he can't make a compelling argument. I'm glad I'm not you. I'm glad I'm not you. Because if I was, I wouldn't be able to push myself through another day. Like, my life has had its headaches. Like, right now, for example, I have to have a hernia operated on in a while, once I finally get my surgery and everything scheduled. And I would rather have my hernia presently than live your fucking life. Because if I lived a life where I was just constantly desperate, clamoring for people's attention, chomping at the bit for any sort of acknowledgement because nobody paid attention to me otherwise, I would literally put my Sarslamaz in my mouth and paint my brains all over the fucking wall behind me. Because I would not be... It's too sad and miserable and painful of a fucking existence to push through. To just keep living that cycle every day like a retarded gerbil on a wheel, running indefinitely until you either tire yourself out and get swept up in the momentum of it, or until you finally do the world a favor and jump in front of a speeding car. Whatever happens, dude, you're not winning or losing. It's basically just a sad little game you're playing by yourself, and then you're trying to pressure other people to play the fucking game with you by screaming at them until they pay you fucking attention. Seriously, dude, get fucked. This is sad, and it needs to fucking stop, because this is some dumb, childish bullshit that most people would give up after the age of, like, 7.